Moving on from that, we're going to go into our very first steps of setting up a project. If you're a moving image student, you've got access to the moving image V drive. This is a place that is just for saving your videos. We recommend not saving them anywhere else, so no memory sticks, no SD cards, don't save it on your desktop. If it's a video file, it goes in here. The reason for that is it's safe, it's backed up, it's not stuck on the computer that you're working on. And you've also got some pretty good performance coming out of this shared storage resource. And then next I'm going to plug in the SD card that's containing my footage. Wait for it to pop up. I'm going to leave this window open, but open up another one with Windows and E. I'll find my SD card. And somewhere in here is a footage folder that contains the clips I want to edit with. When you look on your SD card, your files are probably not going to be named like this. I've done this just to save us a little bit of time. We're going to grab them, move them across and let go. Depending on how many clips you've got and the size of those clips, this could take quite a few minutes. Once we're done with that, we can close the SD card window and remove it. Now you've probably already noticed that we haven't even opened up Premiere yet, and that's because these first steps are really important. Everything starts with the folder that you're keeping your stuff in, and that's important. So we've made sure that we're in the right place and we've moved our files across. You've already done your first backup by making a copy of these files onto the moving image drive. But this folder is just a folder full of stuff, so we need to make some structure. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it source footage. You can call it whatever you like as long as you know that your source footage is going in there. Another thing you might have noticed is the way that I've written this, all in capitals with an underscore. That's a personal preference, but it's advised. When these files are looked at by our backup system, if they've got weird characters in them, like, let's see, put a couple of commas, a couple of exclamation marks. Windows lets me name this file like this, and it would also let me make a folder like this. And it looks okay, but when the backup system tries to make a copy, it probably won't get copied because the backup system looks at the name and it gets interpreted as something else. The long and short of it is, don't name files with weird characters because unpredictable stuff can happen. So I'm just going to rename this one back. So we've got files in the source footage folder. Let's come back up one level. I'm going to make a few more folders in here. I'll make a new folder. I'm going to call this backups. Now Premiere or whatever other app you're using will make its own backups of your project and the changes that you've made, but it's advisable to be in charge of that yourself. You know, don't trust the computer to save everything for you. You're going to want to make your own copies because there might come a time where you've made a change and Premiere has actually made a copy of it at the wrong time. You know, you might want to make a big change to your timeline and you want to make your own backup before you do that change. Make a backups folder and make your own backups when you need to. Let's make another new one. I'm going to call this one audio files. Let's make another one for images. Maybe one more for exports. So, you know, it's a bit faffy and it can take a little while to get set up, but there's some really good reasons why we do this manually instead of relying on the application to do it for us. Sometimes the application will do half of it. It might just copy the source footage but not set up any of these other folders. Also, in the case of Premiere, it's very different to Final Cut. Premiere doesn't really care and it's not going to ask you about where you've imported stuff from. It's just going to let you bring footage in and start editing. If you add an MP3 as a background song and that MP3 is on a memory stick or something, and you completely forget to make a copy of it, you come into your next lesson without your memory stick, you open up your project and the song is gone, it's missing, and you're not quite sure where you saved it, then not only can you not fix that, but calling up a department technician or one of the IT technicians, we can't help you either. If you make sure that you've copied it into this folder, or any aptly named folder, then you're all right. And there's also the fact that as a video editor, you're probably not always going to be working alone. You might be working with a team. You might have a colorist or a motion graphics designer, someone else who's going to need access to your project files. They need to be able to work out what's what got saved where, and it's just got to be laid out in a logical fashion. So keep things as simple as you can, make sure that your project is all contained, and you should be on to a winner. And to be fair, that's not your teacher's responsibility, that's not IT's responsibility, this is down to you, this bit. So now that we're done with this, we're going to open up Premiere.